So now thinking of future me as this conceptual person that I need to turn something into has really helped. I finished. Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk about deadlines, some epiphanies and realizations I've had about how I can make deadlines work for me, and also the reasons why they haven't always worked in the past. I also decided on a change of scenery, in part because I'm frankly just tired of editing videos where I'm in my office, but also because part of my realization happened in here because I was forced to be in here because I hurt myself. It's gonna fit, I promise. So for reference, a little bit ago, not too long, like 2 weeks, I set a schedule for my Meridian Maps revision plan, basically to take it from where it's at all the way to the finished product, more or less. And the steps along the way include multiple beta reads, sensitivity readers, the different parts of like the map making, etc. And so I set deadlines for these activities, and we had come up on my reread deadline. That was last week. I gave myself 5 days to do it because I didn't include weekends in this time, and this is going to be important. But basically what happened was I was in pain for most of the week. I had a dip in my mental health, which happens, you know, not every month, but like every other month or every third month. Some of you will know what I'm saying. And this is just something I know that happens. Thankfully, I no longer get migraines around that time because of the medication I'm on, but like it does not help this down period, and I'm aware enough to know that that's what's happening, which is very helpful, but it doesn't take away from that. So I'm in pain. I'm just laying on the couch for like 2 days. I basically just moped. And every time I wanted to get up and do something, I could not motivate myself to do it. So that was like, I think Monday and Wednesday or something, or Tuesday and Wednesday. Like I barely motivated myself to get up and do a stream on Tuesday. But then I think in part because I had been just so lazy for 2 days, I woke up one morning and threw out my back or something. I don't know what it was. You know when you get a tweak in your neck and then it hurts like the rest of the day when you're trying to turn it that way? That's what happened, but with my back. I could not sit how I'm sitting now. I could only stand, and walking was hard where my ribs hurt to like breathe in, or I could lay. The boyfriend told me that I should take a time lapse of while I was laying on the bed with the dog, so here that is. I at least felt better mentally, but it was definitely like I can do nothing. I tried to use my standing desk for a little bit, and I was able to get a little bit of the reading done, but not a lot of the reading done. I could do it for like 30 minutes, and then I had to take a break to literally like catch my breath. That's what it felt like. So anyways, that was fun. I'm bringing all of this up because in the past, when I have planned and scheduled self-made deadlines, I have not given myself weekends off. I've not given myself this rest time. And thankfully I was able to finish it technically this morning, but like over the weekend. And so my timeline, I'm still right on track with things. So that realization has really helped. Though my goal is never to work on the weekends, it's nice to have those days built into my schedule. I think people have said that Sarah Cannon's one of her programs at Heart Breathing is like, she makes that a point during her 90-day planning or whatever, is to build these days in. So something for me to know is that like every 2 months I need to build in basically a week or something of it's just not gonna happen, you know, it's just not gonna happen. And that is something that I will do moving forward. It's basically just, I guess, working with yourself and knowing your limits. So I've improved a little bit in terms of scheduling and deadlines. I think I could improve more if I, rather than trying to force myself to fit into something, if I just work around what I already know is true for my health. A novel concept, I'm sure. But while I was laying down, I was watching a Jack Edwards video, and he was reading like 5 self-help books in a week or something like that. And one of them that he read for the video was The 4-Hour Workweek. I've heard about it before, but in his review, or what he really took away from that, was this thing called Parkinson's Law, which is basically like the amount of time that you set for the work to be done is the amount of time that it'll take. The work will fill this amount of time. So if you have reads that you need to do in a week, and that's the deadline you set, it'll take you a full week to do it. If you need the rereads done in 2 days, and that's where you set the deadline in, you will finish it in 2 days. Like the work will fill itself. And that's something that like I knew to be true, but I'm really feeling that as I'm working on both pen names and trying to figure out the best way to sort of schedule things and do self-imposed deadlines. When I've done deadlines in the past, they've acted more as guidelines and I've kind of just blown past them and I haven't had any consequences because I've just been doing it for me. Now, obviously this isn't true with like work. I'm talking about fiction work. This has been the case where I'll just blow past my deadlines because even though it's important to me and even though I recognize it as like work that I will ultimately be paid for eventually, it's hard to justify putting it as a certain priority, right? So I've blown past those deadlines and it's been like whatever, and I'll feel bad, but not ever bad enough to change anything. But now that I'm working on both pen names and I'm closer to publication in this one and I've worked on this other one, it's a whole different thing, I guess. And I wish there was a way that I would have realized this sooner before like money was actually involved. Like I wish this was a lesson I would have learned before. So maybe that's why I'm talking about this. But what I'm trying to do now, or what I am successfully doing now, is having the deadlines work for me. So no longer are the deadlines flexible. You know, they're flexible in with what I just said, with building in weekends off or days off, weeks off if I need. That part's flexible, and maybe flexible is the wrong word. Like working around your health shouldn't be a flexibility. It should just be what it is, right? Anyways, basically now I'm treating these deadlines as if it were a normal deadline that I would give someone else, or I'm expected to have something to someone else. And that has really changed how I think about it and the dynamic. So it is me, but it's like future me. I'm making future me be this entity that I have a responsibility to. Right? Because of course I do. That makes sense. But usually I'm just like, future me will deal with it. And I'm trying to change it so that future me is appreciative of current me and the work that I did because I said I was going to do it, you know? So now thinking of future me as this conceptual person that I need to turn something into has really helped. So I think I'm going to revisit my initial revision plans and build in those weeks, like a whole week every 2 months. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. That way I can still, you know, owe myself the thing, but when I need to, it'll be okay. Anyways, this is part celebration because this is done on time. Let me do this again. Ooh. Done on time. I'm very excited. Now I can start the next stage and I feel rejuvenated still because I had all those days, even though they sucked, had all those days to kind of mentally rejuvenate myself where I couldn't this weekend necessarily, but I'm excited. We're on to map making. I guess I just wanted to share, I want to know how you guys make deadlines work for you. Is this something that you struggled with before? Because I have basically the entire history of this channel. That was a rueful laugh. I have like the entire history of this channel to point out that it has not worked for me in the past. I'm hoping that this really helps to mark as a turning point where it does work for me. At least I feel like I've learned 2 valuable lessons in the planning for my health and the work will fill the time you give it. So the question for me is really going to be, as I get farther along in the Kate Kavanaugh publishing process, how differently will that change my other pen name? And basically, I'm going to be doing my own sort of experiment soon with how much time is necessary each day for each pen name. And I also want to keep track of basically how much duplicate, in quotes, effort is involved, if any, when I get farther along in the Kate Kavanaugh process. So it's going to be really interesting. I will share as I go along. As usual. But yeah, please do comment down below. Let me know how the deadline setting process goes for you. Let me know where you feel like you're at. Are deadlines helpful, or are they still kind of a hindrance, or do they feel helpful but you tend to always blow past them? Let me also know if you're someone who's juggling multiple pen names, how that plays a part in your sort of daily scheduling things. I know that's a very specific thing, but when we did that poll, there were so many people who at least want to attempt multiple pen names. So I'm curious if maybe you're not at the multiple pen name stage, if you're at the multiple stories at once stage, how you sort of juggle that and how do you set deadlines for each of those. But that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you especially to some of my new patrons this month. Crystal Triplet, Jen Scott, Laura Milne, Adam Whitman, Cassidy, Frida Cervantes, and Kaya Aaron. And I will see you all very soon in the new video. Bye. Ooh, let's end it off with one more. Bye. And then part of it, oh, there's a car. Oh, goodbye car. Where was I going with that train of thought? This is why I bullet point list what I'm gonna say at least.